Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Cob Diaries. Here, me and Mini-Me are going out for a hack. I'm riding Polly and she is in her rope halter. This was an incredibly long ride and we had a bit of a oh shit moment, shall I say. The roads were quite busy. The troops were doing a lot of training on the moors. But towards the end, Polly and Secret decided that they were going to try and have a race down a hill, and luckily we both stayed on, but it was rather frightening. It felt like it lasted forever, but I believe it was about 43 seconds when I looked back on the footage. But here we're just trotting up the path. This is actually where we were cantering back on the way down. But you'll see that at the end anyway. Polly was anxious of the puddles, and then she got really silly and decided that that little piece of gorse was going to eat her. So I made sure she stopped and had a look at it and give it a good sniff. And the ponies did really good here actually, because up on the right hand side the troops were doing a shooting exercise and they were firing blanks, so it was quite noisy, but they were impeccably behaved. And here we decided we wanted to try and jump this ditch. And Polly was barely just trotting over it. And then going through this river. It's very, very pretty down here. And Polly turned on her speedy trot. I think that's because we had a big van behind us. So we had to trot on to sort of get out of his way. And we went into this woods, and that was a very big log actually. Secret did very well to jump that. I went up the other end and jumped the little bit. The last time I went in this woods, getting attacked by a tree. The last time I went in this woods, there wasn't as many trees down and they were a lot more passable. Polly cat-leapt that and put me in the tree, in the bush. So we will try that again. That was much better. And you can see she tried to turn left again. And Secret refused that time. But then she... a bit of a cat leap. And now here, this was something that I hadn't seen before. We basically had to duck under a branch and walk over a branch at the same time, but the ponies did brilliantly. And here, having a canter. Didn't realise it was quite as wet as it was. Polly wanted to go up that path. And then we come out on the road. I've cut a lot of the boring stuff out of this one. As I said, it was an incredibly long ride. I think it was about 3 hours in the end. Polly was not helping me with the gate. I think I caught my knee on this one as well. It was not very nice. And then we were going up this really steep hill and I decided to try and canter Polly up, and you can see she's almost jumping up the hill, but all good fun. And this is one of my favourite canter straights actually, especially with Polly. She loves this bit, and it's not something we get to go on very often because it's a little way away from our field and it's only really something we can access in the summer. Polly's got her speedy trot on again. She wanted to canter, but obviously I wouldn't allow her to do that on the road. And then what was supposed to be a nice steady canter started with Secret bucking and cantering on ahead, and as you can see, Polly, full pelt, was not happy that Secret had overtook her. And we are going rather fast down this hill, and it was incredibly wet. And here I decided I was going to try and one rein stop, so I turned it to the right, but then I thought, no, she's going too fast. And here they are right next to each other, and they went even faster down this hill. And yeah, it was absolutely terrifying. And then we were getting to the bottom, and you can see I pulled my left rein there to try and get them to slow down. Secret was in front again, and yeah, left rein. She got down into a trot, and left rein to try and slow Freckle down. And you can see Mini-Me, we sort of give ourselves a hug, and we were like, oh my god, we lived. And yeah, I was well, we were both nearly in tears. It was rather scary, but we didn't fall off, and we, you know, the ponies obviously were competing a little bit there, but it's a shame really, because it was a lovely ride. And then we saw these little ponies again. We see these quite often. I think they'll be in my last video. And then some Liberty work with Pandora. This was another nice long session, ending up in some nice big jumps, and she did incredibly well. I was super pleased with her. Now here I'm getting her to go in between the trotting poles, and I was getting her to back up through the poles just to keep her straight, really, just something different to get her brain on the move. Trotting over the poles. She threw in a little jump and a buck there as I started to run. Here I'm getting her to go after the ball, something we haven't done for a while. You see, she goes right over and gets it. That time I kicked it a little bit far away for her. You can see she sort of turns around and like asking for a little bit of help. And yeah, she got the ball. And again, she sort of gets halfway there, loses a bit of confidence, is like, what are you on about, Mum? So I tried to point her back, and she decided she was going to try to do the poles, even though that wasn't what I asked. And now my cat is destroying a cardboard box in the living room. Sorry about that. And she got the ball eventually, and I'm keeping all these little, I'm going to say wrong moments in, all these little mistakes, just to show how I deal with them. Basically just keep asking her to do it, and I ignore her other ways of trying to get treats. And here I'm using the ball as a bit of a target as well, to get her on a circle. I've just put it on the end of my stick there, just to make it a little bit easier for myself, so she's a little bit further away. And she did good. She followed the ball, used it as a target, circled around quite well. And stopped when I stopped. And she's very good. Again, sorry for the rustling in the back. That is the cat. And doing some nice circles. I ran away from her. I love it when she canters behind me or beside me. Just not when she's bucking and throwing her legs in the air. No, you can see I give her a big fuss. And you can see she's licking and chewing and really sort of, understanding and thinking. It's like, oh yeah, I did good. I did good. Yeah, getting her to canter again. Oh, she disappeared, and she kept wanting to go back to the ball because obviously that was what I was getting her to do before, and she was getting treats for it, but now I'm not asking for that, so obviously I don't reward her for doing it when I'm not asking, otherwise that encourages, I'm going to say, an incorrect behaviour, an unwanted behaviour, because I've not asked for it. It may seem a bit silly not to reward her, but for example, if you were teaching a horse to rear, and they were rearing to get a treat even when you didn't ask, that could be quite a dangerous situation. So it really is just being a little bit nitpicky. So she will only get a treat when I ask her to do it, and if I don't ask her to do it, I'll basically just ignore the behaviour. And now doing some sideways. More sideways. That one was better. Oh, don't know what she did with her back leg then. She seemed to trip. Now I'm just using my hand just to keep her head over the other way, just because she was just moving her front end towards me to start with. And now we're moving on to Pandora's favourite part, which is the jumps. Oh, she fell over the log. And she went right up over that first jump. Again, incorrect striding, but that's half the route. Big half of that was because she fell over the log. She went over to Mini-Me to see if she could get some loving over there. And that was better, as was that. And she went towards the second jump. I didn't ask for that, but it just shows that her mind was in the right place. And that she knows that this is probably where we're going to be going to. Over the first jump, over the second jump, and that was really, really good. That was the first time we'd done that. And that first jump she did was at 2'6". The pink one's 2'3". So yeah, over the 2'6". think that one there is 2 for 3 as well. But yeah, she loves her jumps. She is absolutely incredible. Up and over, up and over. And I think she does the log as well. No, she didn't do the log. Oh, she knocked it. She was naughty and didn't do the second one. There, lovely. Yeah, she jumps so well at Liberty. Especially for quite a heavy little pony. She's very heavyweight. And then I used the double jump as almost a figure 8, which was quite a cool exercise to do. Bless, I didn't guide her to that one very well at all. I didn't move quick enough with her. She knocked it down. And again, and she buggered off down the other end of the school. And that, again, that was her way of saying, do you know what, no, I've had enough now, I'm tired. So we did a couple more and then we finished up the training. Now we are schooling Mana, and again we end up doing some jumps. You can see she's half asleep here. The cat now wants to join in. She's talking to me. And then this fly was on the screen and decided it was just going to hang out there. I thought I'd keep that in. I thought it was quite funny. And moving up to trot, again you can see she's sort of half asleep. In that gateway it is quite slippery there. That's a bit of a better trot, and I pull her sort of inside of the track a little bit just to get her out of that muddy, slippery part. But she's trotting a lot better now. And we're going over the tyre jump there at the end. She did that one quite well, but she kicked the tyre out. So we couldn't jump it again unless I got off. Now she did very well, she did both jumps there. She knocked the first one over, but she jumped the second one clear. So I give her a big praise for that, you know, she's a big horse, she's getting on now, she's 17. Oh, she tried to wiggle out there, but she jumped it nicely, which was good. And I was having trouble on this day, as I said, getting her forward. And she's got this habit of just trying to trot over jumps. Now there, she knocked it over, but she did pick her feet up to jump it, so I'm not gonna tell her off or anything. I got off and had to put the jumps up. And there, she jumped that one, unfortunately knocked it over, but it was a good jump. She jumped it, you know, she didn't try to trot over it, which she does quite often. Now we cleared the first one, cleared the second one, a bit wobbly, but better than not jumping either of them. You know, this might seem really sloppy and really bad to a lot of people, but to me this was an achievement, and this is like the first time we've really done double jumps. So I'm not displeased with her at all whatsoever. And that was a good jump. And you see I'm giving her loads of praise. That's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.